Hi guys, welcome back to Hoops Junction. Vlad here, and today we're going to be talking about Kobe Bryant and if he should retire after the season, or will he retire after the season. There's been a lot made about him airballing shots, and he doesn't look like the same Kobe, or he's not scoring as many points, or he said that he sucks himself. A lot made about things of that nature, and I find it very funny that everybody's hypersensitive to Kobe retiring. Let's just look at some of the facts. The fact is he's shooting 32% from the field overall and like 21% from the three. He's taking a lot of shots and he's missing a lot of shots. So that's a fact. But when has there been a time in Kobe's career where he hasn't taken a lot of shots and missed a lot of shots? See, that's a fact also. Kobe is actually playing his same kind of style of game. Pretty much his shots are just not falling. He looks good. Like, personally, from what I've seen, he looks better than what I expected him to look like in terms of physical shape and performance. Like, he looks like he can run up and down the court. He looks pretty quick. He looks pretty athletic. I think he might be suffering from not having his legs under him, but you have to understand, Kobe has been injured back-to-back seasons, so it's gonna take him a little longer to get into the groove of things. Everybody's just really overreacting. They're already putting the raps on him. This is his final season. He played the game at the Garden. This is his final game at the Garden. You guys gotta pump your brakes a little bit. You gotta understand the situation. And part of that understanding the situation is understanding he's been injured. He had the Achilles and he had the shoulder. Back-to-back seasons. So it's going to be very hard for him to pick up his game. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose this season already had a string of 4 games where he was like under 10 points. So you got to understand the situation. You know what I'm saying? But we're not saying that Derrick Rose should retire. See what I'm saying? So that is the crux of the situation. People have such a high standard for Kobe Bryant that even though he's coming back slowly, he's on a minutes restriction. We don't want to see him play a certain kind of way. We don't want to apply reality to him. Instead, we want to criticize him when he's struggling for things that anybody else will struggle with. If you're only playing 28 minutes a game, you're coming off back-to-back injury year. You haven't played a full season in almost 3 years. I mean, what are you going to expect? It's going to take some time. And even with that being said, he's shooting poorly. Kobe's average is 16 points a game. But just about 16 points a game. You know who else is averaging 16 points a game? Kevin Love. So, if my ailing superstar is scoring about 16 points a game, and he's scoring just as much as somebody else, star player of a big three, have no issues with that. People just have to apply real logic to Kobe. They have to stop treating him as if he is not human, And if he shows you that he's mortal, that's fine, If he has bad games, that's fine. You gotta understand that he hasn't played full seasons in 3 years. You gotta correlate your findings with what is actually taking place. And a lot of people aren't. They're just saying that this is not the Kobe that I've known. But obviously, if you think that you really know Kobe, then you probably don't. Because if you're criticizing him for missing a lot of shots, that's something that he's always done all his whole career. If you're making a big deal about him airballing a shot, that happens all the time. And Kobe has airballed a ton of shots. One of the first game winners that he attempted to take was an airball. So that shouldn't be any kind of news to you. It shouldn't be shocking to you. You know what I'm saying? And the basis for his retirement. Well, I'm going to tell you when Kobe will retire. Kobe will retire when somebody on his team, one of the younger guys, comes up to him and says, "You know what? I'm the new sheriff in town. It's time to hang it up." Until then, he's not going to retire. Don't expect him to do it. Like he might be contemplating it. He might be talking about it. But really, when he talks about retirement, it's just fuel to his fire. He likes to use things people say about him, and he uses it as motivation. He has an entire wall of newspaper clippings, bad things people say about him, because that's what he uses as motivation. But when he will actually retire is when a player comes up to him and says, I'm averaging like 20-something points. The offense is running through me. You know what I'm saying? You the number 2 guy. And right now, these guys have so much reverence for Kobe. When they play with him, they're always in awe of him. And I could understand it, but at the same time, you're a professional as well. If you look at all the top scorers on the Lakers, Kobe is the second leading scorer on his team, and he's having a bad year thus far. So what does that say? That the first leading scorer is Jordan Clarkson. He's only scoring about maybe 1.5 points more than Kobe. Jordan Clarkson, he's scoring 17.8 points a game. So, there's really no reason or incentive for Kobe to really retire, despite his legacy, his quote-unquote legacy. But his legacy is already cemented. He could run it up and down the street naked right now. That wouldn't mean anything because he's put in that work. So, there's not really no reason for people to really get hype or get super sensitive about him having bad games. This has happened to him before, ladies and gentlemen, and he's bounced back. I'm pretty sure he can bounce back, but if you expect him to retire and leave the Lakers because he's scoring 16 points a game and the top guys only score 1 more point than him, would you retire? Would you really retire if you you have a certain level that you can achieve and somebody's just a little bit better than you? No, you wouldn't retire. So those are my thoughts on the whole Kobe Bryant retiring situation. I think that overall it's just people overreacting. They're still trying to hold a 37-year-old player to 30-year-old standards, and you just can't do things like that nature. He only plays 28 minutes a game. How much work do you expect somebody to put in? So that's why when he comes into the games, he's pressing because he's trying to get shots or he's trying to get in a rhythm. So I don't foresee retirement for him anytime soon. Maybe next season. After next season, he might want to consider it. But right now, if he's playing poorly, he's still averaging 16 points a game. There's real reason to retire. It's just he just has to figure some things out. He has to get into a rhythm. So that's what I think, and that's basically what I'm saying here. You gotta give a guy a break. You know what I'm saying? But what do you think about it? Do you think Kobe should retire? Do you think it's time for him to retire? Do you think he'll bounce back? Or, do you think it's just time to hang up number 24? I would love to know your thoughts. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla.